Zangmo, and welcome to Dawai Kudroen. My guest tonight is Honorable Chairperson of Anti-Corruption Commission, Dasho Neten Zangmo. Dasho, thank you so much for your time. We had a very interactive and interesting session in Dzongkha. So just want to pick up from where we left during our Dzongkha session. Dasho, you mentioned about a report, international report, which states that the areas of corruption, areas that are prone to corruption are parliament, media, then political parties, judiciary, CSOs, private sector. Are we far from that? We might soon join the list.
Yeah, looking by the trend, some of the institutions definitely. So that's why, of course, I was telling the parliamentarians also that the Bhutan is not part of that survey, good or bad, but we could draw a lot of lessons because that's a very informative piece of survey, a report. And one information, as we're discussing, is that the 11 most corrupt institutions, and it's worrying, it's worrisome, yes. When the global perception is that the very institutions which are supposed to oversee, that like the parliament, yes. The political parties definitely, the media, the CSOs, education, public servants, they are in fact considered as the most corrupt institutions. So we could draw a lot of lessons, and I think it's not that we are shielded from this sort of inevitabilities. These are also inevitable in Bhutan, but I think it's good that we have not reached that stage, but we could. The potential is there. So I think it's very important for our leadership, for our leaders, be they in the CSO, be they in the media, be they in the private sector, or most importantly the government, and then the three branches of the government, that they see that such a situation doesn't arise in Bhutan. Otherwise, yes. it's going to be, for a small country, it's going to be very risky.
Dasho, one concern is that now if you leave it to some kind of self-restraint, self-censorship, or self-analysis not to do certain things, or not to make that particular institution corruption-prone, then if self-analytical implications or some sort of actions are not there from individuals, they'll again wait for Anti-Corruption Commission, Royal Audit Authority for some actions, and that will even make your work more difficult. So in instances like this, what do you hope to do?
Yeah, as you have also read in the report, what we've stressed is that ACC right now, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is loaded with complaints which actually should be dealt by the agencies themselves. And this is what we've again presented to the Parliament in the Good Governance Committee and then of the National Council, and that things need to happen. Like I was just using an example, 2 bags of cement stolen by the GAP comes to us. Does it really have to come to us? It doesn't. It has to be addressed at the local level. If it cannot, then the Dzongkha level. But at the end of the day, in simple terms, it has to be addressed at the agency level. Because all the complaints that come to us, 80% of the complaints can be dealt at the agency level. And what is really criminal in nature, those sort of complaints should come to us. Right now, if you look at the complaints, number of complaints, say 50 to 60% is to do with local governance, local government. They need not come to us. So that's why we are also encouraging the local government that you must build trust and confidence in the citizens, engage the citizens. Because I think citizens' voice is very important. Voice in the sense of not protesting, but voice in the sense of taking responsibility. As we're discussing in the Dzongkha section, social accountability is not about demanding rights and my entitlements, yes. But it's about space, creating the space for the citizens to engage, empower them. As I was saying, that democracy means sovereign power in the hands of the people, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't actually create the space, give the opportunity, build the capacity in the citizens. Like there are so many examples, very simple examples in the 4 days workshop that we had, very simple tools that we have. But the most important in tools is not the important thing. What is important is the will. Is the will there at the leadership level, whether it is at local level, whether it is at the civil servants level, whether it is at the citizens themselves. That is there a will, political will at all levels, including the citizens. I'd like to see this. If there's a will in terms of tools, knowledge and skills, we can always get from other countries if we don't have it here. But most important thing is its will. So as far as now social accountability is concerned, ACC is committed. And of course, we are saying that ACC is not the primary actor. ACC has a small stake, but the bigger stake is with institutions like the Home Ministry, with the GNH Commission, and with the local government as a whole. And we are happy that one of the Zongdas was there at that workshop. And we are saying that can we do something at the local level? An example was also one of the ideas was also it has come out in the annual the report, the report of that 4 days workshop, that maybe the outpatient services, can we use citizens in terms of getting the feedback from citizens. It's also simple things like getting the feedback from citizens. Of course, consciousness is there, but it is only right now, it's only to the extent, as I was saying in the Zangkak section, there's just a board in the GOV's office. But do the farmers have the time to go and see the board? Huh?
Yes.
But in terms of, there's so many tools, One is the report card, citizens report card. The other thing is the budgetary. Budget, let's also demystify, that's what the consultant was saying. Let's just demystify budget and then make it understandable to the local citizens. And also see how they can also track the expenditures.
Yes.
The budget meant for irrigation channel, has it been invested in building a road leading to the GOV's house?
Yes.
Auditing, social auditing, so many tools. Yes. But I think this has to happen if democracy, if you really want to build a strong democratic culture. And there's so many good examples. But and Bhutan, if people who matter are committed to it, it will not take a long time to really make this a fantastic country and a fantastic, that democracy can work.
Yes. Talking about social accountability now, as discussed in our Zangkak session, will it not be at all expectation for people, expect people to do certain things? Because for now, majority of the people would believe that their role begins when elections are there. And from one election to the next election, they have no role to play. Just wait for the next elections. And even if they have any grievances for government not having delivered what they have promised, they would wait for the next election to vote them out. So in instances or a situation like this, are we not expecting too much from the public?
No, it's not a question of expecting, It's actually, this is not what should happen, Even people's mind in the Zangkak section, we are saying that it appears that people only matter during elections. No, that shouldn't be the case. So from one election to another election, the next election, what are people doing? How are we engaging the people? It appears that people are only important for votes. And I think people must also realize it's not only for votes. So in the workshop, we're also saying that now we must move from votes to voice.
Yes.
And voice, again, I'd like to stress that it's not a matter of demanding, that it is my right, my constitutional right, but in the form of duty, engagement, participation. And one of the intrinsic democratic values is participation. It's participation. Otherwise, we are going to create very bad energy. I think this is so important, and it's doable, and we must do. Not a question of doable, but it is only natural that we do it. So let's build that, and it can be done in small projects. When you go to the local level, irrigation channel, how was it constructed? The budget that was allocated. Now the government has this commitment about 2 million. So we are saying that unless you put the checks in place, you're going to put many people into behind bars.
Yes.
Something like CDT, what happened? You look at the annual report. Because this also becomes a tool for abuse. Because I think this is important, especially when you talk about corruption. It's very important that you have the checks. And one of the checks can be the people, through people's participation. And we must do it. We must do it. It is important. It's not a question of, it's not a matter of question of choice.
Yes. That's one serious cause of concern whenever you talk to individuals, be it in civil service, corporations, or any other sector, private sector. We conveniently blame system for any lapses, for any individual's lapses.
Yeah.
Now, do you see this trend changing anyhow? If this is not changing, then it's again a serious cause of concern.
Perhaps it's not changing at the sort of pace that we desire to see. Like people often say systems. Even people who embezzle funds, they have the guts to say it's because of system. My God, I stole that money because the system allowed me to steal. Please, let's not do that. And as we were saying in the Zangkak section, that systems, it's not that we don't have systems. We have systems. We have systems. Procurement, you talk about procurement, one of the most vulnerable sectors.
Yes.
We have procurement rules. We have procurement manuals. So what we are saying is that if there are any difficulties in the rule which actually promote corruption, let's try to address those sections in the procurement manual. But at the end of the day, people who manage the systems are the most critical factors, in my view, in our view, the most important. Yes, systems, strong systems, you may have the best system in the world, but people who are managing those systems, if they are not ethical, if they're not ethical and rule-abiding, law-abiding citizens, honest public servants, then your best system, who cares?
Yes. Dasho, I would like to bring up this point again because I think it's very important. And the point is, now for non-performers in any sector, they would like to take refuge in the fact that institutions like ACC and Audit Authority are proving to be a stumbling block for them to perform.
Yes.
Dialogue, where is it happening? Any institutions or individuals coming forward saying that we need to do certain things the way we wish because you are not letting us perform. Anyone apprised?
Nobody.
In this?
But we've heard this. I've also mentioned that all of us, you and I, know that. And I was also mentioning that it's not only the mid-level or the junior level civil servants or public servants. Even the ministers have been saying this. Some of the ministers, I will not say all, but some of the ministers definitely. Some of the secretaries, yes. That now ACC, because of ACC and RA now, we are not able to make decisions. Then what we've been saying, of course we can't speak on behalf of the RA, but as far as the Anti-Corruption Commission is concerned, what we've been saying is there something that we do not know? Let's have a dialogue. Where are the problems? How are we impeding in conducting our business? How are we impeding decision-making processes? Or is it a refuge that you're seeking for your non-performance?
Yes.
Or for your willing and reluctance to perform? So then we are saying that if people can't make decisions, leave the system. There are so many people looking for jobs.
Yes.
But if there are difficulties, genuine difficulties, let's discuss. Because people working in the ACC, we don't claim to be the know-all and the be-all. Sometimes we may be absolutely ignorant of very serious things, which might be because of the cause being ACC's work. So let's discuss. I think there's every room for dialogue. Through only dialogue, through understanding, mutual understanding, and we can solve problems. So I think that is important. The other thing is, now because of the recent decision that committee members, now people have been the one question, the question, frequent question that we see, the committee, they have served for 30 years, 40 years. I'm saying that we must understand now, that this is not a voluntary service that you offer to the country, where you make such claims. It is a contractual business, a contractual between an employer and an employee. For your service, government has paid. It's not a voluntary service. So for God's sake, I think we should now move away from this, I have served the country for. So have the country paid you for your service?
An instance of misplaced sympathy.
Yeah. This is a general notion. I think we need to change that, I have served the country for 40 years. So what? You've been paid for your service. So I think we should never think that, you have been paid. And if you also now, if you fail to perform your job, you will also be penalized. Yes. You will also be penalized. I think this is also a frequently asked question to us, to the ACC. Now people will not perform. Now this is that, this is this, So, but I think we need to really understand that it is a contract between an employer and employee. That even if you have served for 40 years or 50 years, you have been paid for your service. And let's not think that just because you have served for 50 years, that you will be exonerated from the offences that you have committed, as far as corruption is concerned. Yeah.
Yes. Dasho, tell us about the trust and confidence that you share with institutions that you are supposed to work together with, because there's one particular instance that didn't really go well, where you had to even prosecute cases on your own, and because of that, your report clearly states that things do not seem to be very positive when it comes to building coordination amongst agencies or institutions.
Yeah, I think this trust is very important, whether it is between institutions, whether it is between neighbours, whether it is between fellow citizens. I think this is so important and it's so crucial now. And this is something that I really like to appeal, that the trust is so important. And between is the example that you're quoting. And we were stating, of course, it's clearly highlighted in the report. But what is most important thing is that it is good that it's happened now, because then we have the wonderful opportunity to make corrections. Is it the system that is failing? That has given, and then we also know that how to address in terms of, in terms of legislation. But at the end of the day, the independence. At the end of the day, rationale should prevail.
Yes.
Not people who are involved. The faces, it should not be based on faces. But at the end of the day, the legal provisions, the rationale should prevail. So we are saying that now ACC, the issue that the one issue that we've also raised in the report is that should ACC be prosecuting as a norm, or should we be prosecuting under some special circumstances? So otherwise, because these are issues that we're also raising as far as our counterpart OAG now, for an example, OAG, or for example ACC. It's not that ACC is perfect. You never know. ACC, with the sort of power that is vested in the ACC, it can also abuse.
Yes.
Like for example, in many countries, in many countries all over the world, ACC are pawns in the hands of the political parties, political leaders. So in such a situation, how are you also going to ensure that ACC doesn't misbehave?
Will this not happen in Bhutan?
It could happen. It could happen. So that is why, again, this notion about people, whenever we come out with rules, laws, legislation, people say, now it's okay because we trust the present commission. Yes. But when you make such statements, it also reflects of lack of confidence in yourself. If you appoint the right people, such things will not happen. But the most important thing is the sort of people that you appoint in these institutions. And going back to trust, I think this is so important because we have to continue to work together. So if there were some lacuna, in the very, be it in the legislation, be it understanding the legislation, be it in your conduct, code of conduct, then I think things need to be put in place. And at the end of the day, what we've been saying is it should not be the face, but it should be the merit of the case, and rationale should prevail. So the question is, issues are raised on both sides. So for the future, and we are happy that it happened now. We are happy that it happened now because things need to be corrected and strengthened, and we must all recognize this. Yes. And we are happy it happened now.
Yes, Dasho, after the inception of this institution, Anti-Corruption Commission, you kept on informing the people that collective responsibility is very important for a cause like this. And you have also appealed to the public that it has to be a collective responsibility. Is it happening? The manifestation of support or jabjur that you received. Tell us about this.
Yeah, one example again that you're mentioning about during the elections, where was Neten and where was ACC? The same question was raised at one of the democracy forum organized by BCMD. So one of the young participants was asking me during the elections, where were you?
Yes.
So I threw back the question to him, where were you? What did you do? You were also part of the electorate. You must have also seen. But what have you done? So again, back to collective responsibility. Yes. So I think this is taking time. This is taking time, although people mention it. It's not that people are not aware. But what is lacking is in terms of perhaps action. Yes. People now know this time, last 1.5 months, our colleagues have covered about 84 geogs. We've gone out to the geogs, in terms of now educating, continuing with our education advocacy program. And this is something that we mentioned about political corruption, the electoral corruption, and then plus the responsibility that the citizens need to take. They need to be aware, because at the end of the day, for clean government, you have to have clean politics. This is what we've also mentioned. And then the citizens need to be educated. They need to be aware. And then at the end of the day, they need to take responsibility. So in terms of awareness, a lot of awareness has been created, going back to collective responsibility. But in terms of taking that responsibility, I think much is lacking. Much is lacking. I think we need to keep trying. We need to keep trying, like for simple things like people coming and reporting. They know. All of us know, being a small country, transparency is there by default, as I keep saying that. Yes. By default. Everybody knows what everybody is doing, at what time, where. But people don't have the guts. And I remember our last year's interview also, that some of us will have to be sacrificial lambs. And let us be for a good cause. Doesn't matter. If you lose your head, it's okay. But for a good cause. At the end of the day, your children will reap, will enjoy what you've done, the sacrifice that you've made. And I think we need to do this. So that's why one thing that we're also saying is that the GNHC, the 11 5-year plan, freedom from poverty, freedom from this. So one thing we're saying is freedom from fear. That all of us are so scared of consequences. If I report, I know some things are going wrong in my organization, my office, but I can't report because I will be marked. Yes. Then I'll be considered as a kachara. I've been saying, blacklisted. But I think we need to rise now. Yes. Rise about fear for yourself. Of course, it's a reality, but I think we need to change that. And we have been impressing upon, at the end of the day, change must come from all directions, horizontally, from bottom. And then most important change must be from the top. The head of the agency, the deputy head, the section heads. I think they must create that space and build that confidence in the people and trust. It's okay. If things are going wrong, you come. Yes. So that's why in the report, what 3 things that we've stressed is ethical leadership, staff integrity, and systems integrity. If you can take care of these 3 things, yes, it will be so wonderful. And it can be done. It can be done. It's doable. And it must be done. And I keep saying that let's change. Otherwise, we'll be forced to change.
Yes. Dasho, in most of the forums that I've attended, and you came as a speaker, and even in most of my interviews with you, you kept stressing on leadership, the importance of leadership. Now, when you make so much of reference to leadership, if leaders at all fail to take control of their own institutions and agencies, is it not because there's this lack of enforcing moral responsibility on those individuals as leaders? Anything happens below or within the organization, the leaders get scot-free easily. Is it not because of that?
Yeah, but I think let's also go back to the cause. No, like how are these people appointed? No, who appoints them? No, and whether they're appointed or whether they're elected. So if elected, of course, it's the hands of the electorate. But appointment, what we've been stressing is that when you appoint people, especially the top leaders like secretaries, of course, the ministers, the elections, the directors, the deputy secretaries, the CEOs, that background checking. Let's not test the linguistic skills.
Yes.
I know people who are watching me by now they'll be quite tired. She's been saying, I don't know, 100 and 1,000 times. But we need to change how these people are recruited. No, the recruitment. This is the cause. Actually, we have to go back. You go back to go back to the source. Ensure that the right people are appointed as these heads of agencies, be they in the corporate sector, be they in the I don't know, media. But let's not talk about media other sector, but government. No, once you do that, then I think the sort of problems that we're having perhaps will be minimized. But again, going back to what you're saying about moral responsibility, yes. People who are found to have committed an offence, sanctions imposed upon them. But what happens to the people on top? If you read our report, what we've also subtly said is that, in fact, there's a general perception that, in fact, people who have allowed, they may not have been necessarily part of the offence, but who have allowed such things to perpetrate are promoted. So this is also general perception. Forget about taking moral responsibility. And I think this is a culture that we need to build. And I keep saying that if things go wrong in the ACC, I'll be the first one to resign. And I should be the first one to resign. Or if not, I should be forced to resign. No, I don't think this is a culture that we need to set. But again, going back to, so ethical leadership is so important. The recruitment, ethical leadership, not being a nice person. No, I'm okay alone. No, but as a leader, what are you investing? No, are you creating ethical systems? Are you investing money in that? Are you investing people in that? Do you have persons? So I think this is all what you talk about ethical leadership. No,
yes.
Then staff integrity is about code of conduct. How do you also now invest time in making people understand the code of conduct, let alone compliance? No, and then compliance will come if you understand the systems, minimizing. No, going back to systems. No, systems integrity. I mean, minimizing opportunities for corruption. Like for example, we have so many cases where people have been in vulnerable positions. No, for 13 years, 15 years. The RCC, like for example, if it's in the government agency, RCC rule says that they may be transferred after 5 years or so. Now, of course, the rule says 3 years or so. No, but in vulnerable positions, if the heads are conscious about building systems of integrity, they will transfer these people. But no, they have been in that position for the last 10 years, 15 years, created a very cozy place for themselves, a niche. They've cultivated all their partners in crime.
Everybody knows it.
Yes.
Nobody does anything.
Yes. Nobody does anything. So what do? Because you have given them the opportunity.
Yes.
Okay, fine. That internal, the value system of a person, that is to himself or herself. But the systems, if we can the systems can be tight enough so that we don't allow these people to perpetrate offences. Then I think one thing that we feel sad in the ACC is also about losing people in whom the government has invested so much. Could we have saved him or her? I'm sure in many instances we could have saved him or her. But the person sitting on top just allow things to happen. So that accountability has to be fixed. So that again, that appointing the right people, electing the right people. I think this is so important, the leadership. That's why we keep stressing leadership to the extent that people are so bored and so annoyed and so disgusted with us. But we need to keep stressing this leadership.
Yes.
And I'll keep saying this.
Dasho, while you strive to fight corruption, are you suffering from some sort of fatigue? Because in your report, it was mentioned that you're fighting a lone battle. That's number one. Number two, you must be under lots of pressure because you mentioned about political and ministerial dictates. If you could explain.
I think the lonely battle and the dictate, this has to be clarified. Because one thing that we are proud in Bhutan is that as far as ACC is concerned, there's been no influence at all. There has been no attempt to influence ACC. I think this is such a great strength And we must thank, in fact, when we made the presentation to the I think it was the Ethics Committee, Ethics and Credential Committee, that no influence. And it's a big strength for Bhutan. And then the wisdom of our leaders, that such institutions cannot be influenced and should not be influenced. So I think there was some misunderstanding in the People's Voice that our Neetup was mentioning, that he was concerned about this lonely battle and then the dictate. So this we've been the dictating, the ministerial dictate and then the political dictate. We've been in fact stressing this in our delinking, the need to delink ACC, that this could be a risk, which is actually a problem faced by many anti-corruption agencies in the world. The lonely battle, okay, it's not that the agencies are, some of the agencies are very strong. Some of the agencies, but in terms of really building that, institutionalizing anti-corruption measures, perhaps a long way to go. But lonely in the sense that as an institution, within the internal governance system, there's not really conscious package of anti-corruption measure or embedding and integrity. So from that point of view, from the institution point of view, lonely. Yes. Certainly it's lonely, but we have not really reached that collective, that sense of responsibility in everybody, including the citizens. So I think I thought that I need to correct that it's not that the ACC under pressure. Oh, no. Thanks to our great leaders, their wisdom, that influence has not been there. And I hope that it continues. Continues. This is very important. And one thing that I also wanted to stress, which in our dialogue we mentioned, is that in the long run, ACC should not be there. Because if things are institutionalized, if integrity is institutionalized, somebody was asking me, our parliament was asking, what extra is ACC wants us to do? There's nothing. Yes. Because good governance is everybody's business. It is actually central to economic development. It's central to, we call it democracy, it's central to everything. And if you're not concerned about good governance, then I don't know, there's nothing extra ACC does. It's basically ACC just is there as a reminder, as a facilitator. That's it. And if every agency takes care of good governance and really institutionalize the characteristics of good governance in the organizations, after some time ACC will become redundant, and thank God this will be our ultimate goal. Become jobless. We'll have to come to maybe BBS to look for jobs. I hope I'll get a job.
Dasho, one concern for Anti-Corruption Commission as an institution is not having people join ACC. And also you do not have that authority, or you do not have the power to recruit your own people. Will that not render ACC dysfunctional?
Yes, in fact, this we've been saying in the past reports. If you look at our past reports and the submissions that we made to all the authorities, that Constitution guarantees independence, legal independence, administrative independence to the institution, to the ACC. But in the wisdom of the Parliament, as far as personnel management is concerned, okay, there is an appearance of some extra powers being given to the constitutional bodies, but it totally undermines, and especially with ACC, with the investigative mandate, it really conflicts. It undermines the independence. And then when you have to depend on another agency for an important resource like HR for your promotion, certain level, meritorious promotion, we just don't have authority. Position creation, additional people, we don't have authority. So it undermines, in fact, it contradicts with the constitutional provision. But we said, okay, fine, in the wisdom of our leaders, this decision has been made. And we've been now within the civil service ambit. Just the 3 commissioners being independent, I'd like to repeat it. Just the 3 commissioners being independent, and the rest of the colleagues being under the civil service administration is not going to work. And with the appearance of some independence over your human resources, this is not going to work. And it's going to undermine the investigative mandate. And if this is the wisdom of our leaders, then I guess we have to follow. But our duty is to submit that what an anti-corruption should be in terms of its operations, in terms of its resource management. Now, even in terms of finance, for example, as my commissioner was mentioning in the People's Sundays program, in all countries, the biggest enemy of ACC is its own success. And once the leaders find that the ACC, not politicians alone, but leaders or corrupt people who are in positions of power, once they find that ACC is strong and successful, they clip their wings. They'll immediately play with a budget. They'll not give them sufficient budget. And then also appoint all these, their cronies, people who will not be so effective. They are the ones who will be appointed there and who cannot perform. And even if they perform, they will be performing on the command of their leaders, shadow leaders.
So some form of financial independence.
And then is that what we want for Bhutan? I do not know. This is the leader's decision. We cannot make decision. We can only submit. We can only submit. It's our duty. So this time also what we've done is now the delinking report has been done by an independent consultant. And then there are also some indication about continuous flow of stream of funds.
Yes. Dasho, thank you so much for your time. As passionate as ever. Wish you all the luck in all these endeavors. And I'm sure your hope for collective responsibility will somehow garner fruits. Thank you so much, Dasho.
Thank you.
With this, we come to the end of our program. The only message that I would like to convey, like I did in Zonka's session, is that let me quote the words of His Majesty the King. I'll not be corrupt and I'll not tolerate corruption in others. With this, only appeal is that let's keep collective responsibility in mind. And this brings us to the end of our interview with Dasho Neten Zangmo. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.